be up on your screens very shortly here. Lower bracket final. Big deal. This is the end of the line for one of these two teams. Team Liquid and FaZe Clan will be going in, but only one of them will be coming out and making their move into the best of 5 tomorrow to fight up against NIP with a one-map disadvantage, fighting back from the lower bracket team on Championship Sunday. You have to win here now. You've got to pick up your 2 maps. You've got to come out swinging. If you lose now, you are out of the major.
No surprises to see FaZe banning out the clash there. They had a torrid time against that electrified shield when they played NIP in the last matchup. Pino managing to completely clutch it round out with the clash. So absolutely no surprise to see her gone off the board. Capitao, Maverick, Mirror, all fairly standard there. Capitao, I suppose, being the sort of more marginal pick, but extremely powerful and great arguments to be made for banning Capitao out with the breadth of the utility that he's got. So much variation available on his belt. But we're going to be heading into round 1, and I think the old pick for FaZe. It doesn't surprise me too much, but we've got to remember they've just been absolutely run over by NIP on this. Now, you've got to remember the last play day of the regular season, these two teams faced off. It was 7-4 to Liquid, followed by a 7-4 to FaZe. So they came out with 1 apiece each in a draw. But FaZe played them on Clubhouse and won on Clubhouse. That was where FaZe got their 7-4. So it really does hang in the balance. And I find this really fascinating, Jackie. You've got a team that have beaten Liquid 7-4 on Clubhouse, so can find some confidence from that, but have just been absolutely rolled by NIP on this same map. So we'll lose some confidence from that. The question is, which is going to be the bigger factor? Is, they both sit on this team's shoulders right now, and which side are they going to listen to? Is it going to be sufficient to give them a mental reset, the fact that they had that win against Team Liquid here already?
Oh, damn, Tim. This is a crazy feat when you think about it. Team Liquid coming into the competition, a side that... Ooh, actually, before we get into that, it looks like we have had someone drop out. I won't start to spin a story and get you reeled in, because there's no reason to. It'd be like going fishing without a fishing rod, Tim. You're not likely to catch anything. So we'll catch ourselves, and we'll come back out of this one. We'll get a rehost on the go. First rehost of the day. We made it to the second series, Tim. That's a new record.
Yeah, we've done very well. And to be fair, it's not having too much of an impact. It's just in that prep phase of the first round. So we basically just get things started up again. But, as we said, there's a lot of questions to be answered now coming into this one. FaZe, it's do or die. It's now or never for anybody who's joined us. We are, of course, in the LATAM Major. We are looking at the lower bracket final. It's going to be coming up. Team Liquid versus FaZe. The loser goes home. It is another one of those decisive matchups where we will have one team progress into the grand final. They will play against NIP with a one-map disadvantage in a best of 5. But the loser, they go home. Nada, zilch. They get 3rd place, I think it'll be. So, yep, 3rd place. They'll get a little bit of prize money. They'll get a few extra SI points, but it won't be what they're looking for. They want that top spot. They want the number 1 place with the $50,000 and the 285 SI points.
Yeah, they want the big money, big points, big fun. That's what they're looking for, but the likelihood of you being able to get it relies on who wins this game and goes through to fight NIP tomorrow in Championship Sunday. However, Tim, it is the Major. It is a rehost. Are you interested in another round of Major Edition rehost riddles?
Always keen, Jackie, but I had an absolute nightmare yesterday.
You did. It was a bit of a slow start. You've been doing good throughout the season.
I know.
But I don't know what happened, Tim.
I'm team 1, aren't I?
You have a solid season, it all drops off at the Major. Oh, mate. I'd be really sad to see you go, Tim. So don't lose on this one. Don't get knocked out. Keep yourself in it, all right, mate? Are you ready for the rehost riddle?
I am. Bring it on.
All right, the grey gears are turning. Here we go. Let's get some wrinkles on everyone's brains. What has a head, a tail, is brown, and has no legs?
Oh, I mean, brown sort of throws it off a little bit. I was gonna maybe go in at like maybe a specific coin, like a penny.
Oh, he's done it!
He's done
it! Straight in with a penny.
I wasn't sure whether you were going to hit me with some technicality, like, well, actually, a penny is made out of 97% copper. I didn't know whether you were going to hit me with something like that, Jackie.
Oh, that's big. That was quick. See,
that
was literally on the normal just ace train of thought, and you pulled right into the station.
If it hits my vein of logic, that's it. Bang! It's either
big forehead vein that comes up whenever I give you a riddle.
If it hits that logic, it's either instant answer or I never really seem to figure them out. I either just go in and get them or it's not happening.
No, mate, that was sick. Honestly, well done.
I'm just happy that I've turned up and managed to have at least a partway decent performance at the major now. I can say forevermore that I got a win at the LATAM major. And if people, people can think what they want when I say that. If they want to think that I've played and that I've managed to turn a result out against one of these behemoths of World Siege, I'm not in control of that. But what I see is I got a win at the LATAM major.
Mate, you've done well, honestly. You got Penny, you got it pretty damn quickly. I feel like that one was potentially a bit of a tricky one, and you got it straight away. You knew about the oxidized copper. You knew it would be brown. You got it with the heads and tails, and Tim, you come out heads there, ahead of your previous debut into the Major Edition Rehost Riddles. I'm proud of you, but I'm also proud to say we're going back the gameplay. We return here, back to Clubhouse once again. Everyone, all aboard as we are going back to Germany. Get on your Harley Davidsons and pull up because this is going to be a banger. Liquid take on FaZe. It was a bit of a rehost. If you're joining us, you're a little bit confused. You're like, what's going on? There's a wizard and a bald man. They're doing riddles. It's all good. We're going into the gameplay now as Liquid will take on FaZe here. They're going to be starting off over on their defense with FaZe on the attack.
We promise you that Siege is coming, and it's coming right now. As you said, Jackie, all aboard. We are on the hype train right now for this one. It is the loser bracket final, and one way or another, we will have a decision over who stays and who goes. That is the answer that we will be finding out over potentially the next 3 maps. We are in best of 3. First one here is Clubhouse. Second one will be Coastline, Decider. And there's a bit of me, Jackie, that wants it to go there already.
Oh, mate.
I want some Oregon.
Honestly, I love Oregon. I know we've said this many a time, right? You're a big fan of Consular. I'm a big fan of Oregon. They're both maps that I think provide some really exciting siege, and with the quality of games we've seen, especially in this major as well. You think for Team Liquid, right? They went down, 5 rounds on the spin and then brought it back to beat Team 175? Mate, think about that. If we get to see another game of Oregon out of Liquid, it will be luscious.
Certainly will. It'll be everything that we've been hoping for in this major, I am sure now. Looking at a few of the stats, I can see that FaZe have got a lower overall average time for the rounds that they've played in so far. About 6 or 7 seconds, and it doesn't sound like much, but it's actually quite reasonable in terms of what we see as the difference in the average for the league. If we look at the quicker teams versus the slower teams, there's usually about 10 seconds in between the two. So at the quick end, we've got a team like MIBR on the regular season coming in with an average round length of about 235, and then we've got Liquid, NIP, they're all the way up at 243 and 245 respectively, so taking big chunks out of the time on that round. And if we have a look at FaZe, generally speaking, they've been around the 239 mark, so a little bit quicker, and maybe that's a pace that we are going to see them inject on the attack here. They didn't manage to last time around, but I feel like they really need to here. They need to bring some thunder.
Well, talking of what's been brought out by the viewers at home, we went for another poll. We asked, first map is Clubhouse, who's going to take it? And the results are in. Nearly 80% of the fans believe that Team Liquid will be locking it down here on Club, and that FaZe fan will be dropping out, with only 20% effectively believing in the FaZe clan response. But with the quality of the round, it seems like maybe there is a response from FaZe clan, and they're going out strong. 2 of a kind popping up on the board as we see 2 frags found. Moringa and Nest both eliminated early on. You haven't lost your star player though. You've still got Palu, and he is waiting for an opportunity to present itself, hoping that someone's going to come walking over the threshold through the doorway and that he'll be able to smite them down with this firearm. Waiting for the initial peek, Tim, but he begins to start skulking. Advancing further forward, brilliant positional play and beautiful trigger discipline. He'll lurk like the hunter he is. A big game hunter about to skin the man beneath him with a single bullet. He will decimate. Sledge has been removed, brings it back into a 3 versus 4 as he drops a bullet through where Mavs 4 get processed and keeps the round going. 45 seconds left now, Tim FaZe. You've got a 1-man advantage, but when push comes to shove, can they get onto the bomb site, or will the roam of Palu backstab?
PSK just shutting down the blue corridor push, but will be traded out by Live. Sexy Cake, however, shuts him down 2 versus 2. It is Palu and Sexy Cake versus Ion and Yuna. Yuna on low health, Sexy Cake down but not out right now. It is all for Palu to do. He's opened himself up a rotation. He's got an option to move in between the sites nice and easily now. He gets the first onto Ion. The diffuser's going down, but Yuna is on seriously low health. So is Palu. This is a breath of wind in either direction. Now, right now, Yuna's chosen to leave Sexy Cake alive, and that is dangerous because Sexy Cake is feeding information constantly into Palu, and that has got to be called as a bit of a mistake. You have to take the man out. I know that he doesn't want to take his eye off the ball, but all he's done is leave a living, breathing camera in the site with him, and Sexy Cake is just feeding information to Palu at that point. He's telling him exactly where the man is, and Palu comes round with a nice easy pre-fire, and he will get the disable on that diffuser, and that is unfortunate for FaZe there because they're in a situation where they had a great start to that round. They got themselves the 2 opening kills, but they have allowed the worst player on the team against them that they could have done to find his feet, and that is Palu. And we just see the replay there, Jackie, of him taking the sledge out at the beginning.
Yeah.
And it's a really interesting point. What a beautiful shot. It's a really interesting point to make as to maybe why he held on to that and the trigger discipline that you mentioned at the time. And it's all about wasting time. That is his job out on the roam. So if he takes the shot on the sledge immediately, that's maybe another 5 or 10 seconds that could have ticked by without the team knowing where he is. He then is also cautious that after he takes that shot, there's likely to be a call out giving his general direction. So you saw him come off that and immediately ADS onto the bedroom door. He went through construction into bedroom, straight onto that door because he knew he might be challenged immediately. And it was just really great game sense and anticipation from Palu there to just waste out every single second that he could, but he was conscious of allowing the sledge to start his movement, because we've seen that a few times. People find somebody in drone and they try to hold on for it, and then that player just moves. It's a flinch, it's a sudden reaction, and it's very difficult sometimes to react to, and you almost potentially lose your life to it. And Palu, great judgment there, great clutch. What a round.
That's huge, mate. It also really does go to show, right? We highlighted him. There was a reason we spoke about him before we came into this matchup. When we were speculating a little bit, you know, we said, Palu, he was incredible the whole way through yesterday. He rocked up to the major and he has been playing in style. He has been quite possibly one of the best from Brazil, if not the worldwide, with the style of Siege we've seen from him week in, week out. And for him to do it on the big stage and the big online environment here at the major and consistently clean up frag after frag, win clutch round after clutch round, and be the sole superstar that Team Liquid need, it is wild. I don't know how big and how deep this man's backpack is, but it has certainly got some volume to it, Tim.
Right now we can see the little gameplay coming in with the bandit there. Out come the lifelines to stun him away and try to get this wall open. But right now they won't have been successful so far. Out go the drones again from FaZe, just looking to try and ensure that they get it done correctly this time around. But for the time being, that east wall is going to remain closed. Nesk is going to open things up for us with a kill onto Live. So this time, by contrast to round 1, in round 2, we will see how FaZe can play from behind here, because they are now at a man disadvantage. We can see Nesk absolute fractions of a second away from having a second challenge on the hatch there, but we'll just move to take a drone out. He knows there's a man in there. Trigger discipline, great once again. Didn't take the initial shots, and that didn't alert them to his presence, but Ion comes in with a huge double to level things up, and that's exactly what FaZe needed. It was starting to slip away from them and get out of hand here, but he manages to get himself a quick double, and that leaves us 3 versus 3 coming into the final minute.
Oh, what's scary for me already, Tim, is the fact I'm starting to get flashbacks between NIP and FaZe on Clubhouse just mere moments ago. It feels like the game is starting to start in the similar stance with Team Liquid defense, but certainly having themselves set to attack mode, and they're just swinging into these fights. Nesk's doing what he does best. Palu is punishing at every opportunity, and you might have whittled down some of the superstars, but there really is a constellation of superstar players on this side, so it doesn't even matter. You've still got Sexy Cake, you've still got Moringa and PSK lurking, holding their crossfires, and running this clock down to a bare minimum. 24 seconds left to work with. FaZe Clan setting their sights towards the site and deciding when they want to attempt to stake a claim and take this territory away from Team Liquid. If they do go for it though, it's going to be a hard-fought fight. They need to clear out on the angles, and Astro, he gets the backstab off. Maestro goes down, not conducting this into a pretty round, but the response is even better as they'll bite the heads off of Ion and Yuna. Astro in the close range angle, it gets a bit awkward for him, and that's an astronomical mistake. Overpowered by the sheer lunacy of Liquid as they'll gun him down by the doorway, decimate him, and pick themselves up another.
I don't even know who finished that one off. He was being challenged by two. Astro always on a losing battle coming through that single doorway. There wasn't much time left. There was, the potential for a rotation onto the cash stairs and try and move in through sight, but it would have been wildly predictable more than likely at that point. It was tough for him. He just had to go and take the fights, and once again, Liquid just managing to sort of win a round, really, that looked like it was heading in the direction of FaZe. We saw them get themselves a man advantage, 3 versus 2, but then when it came down to that final collapse onto site, ultimately, it was just a step too far for them, and Liquid locked down the angles, got the round closed out.
Cleaning up, Tim. They're hitting their shots. They look quite dominant going into this. And obviously it comes back to a talking point that I mentioned yesterday, in the sense where when we had Team Liquid playing their back-to-back best of threes, right? It can sometimes knock you for 6 a little bit. You can be somewhat out of sorts. You've been playing an awful lot of Siege, and especially for FaZe, it took them some time to wake up, right? They only really got back into the game on Consulate before it was effectively nearly over. They got a couple rounds on the spree, and then that was it. They've had about 20 minutes since then. They've reset mentally, you'd imagine, and they're coming back in. But Liquid, it just feels like they've come out and they are using the confidence to catch them off guard. They're going in with a really aggressive style of play on their defense, which is quite uncharacteristic, really. They're being able to just swing into these fights, and they're landing those big belters. Oh, Tim, if this carries on, I'm worried for FaZe immediately. I know it's early doors, but we've seen how these games go and how quickly they can spiral out of control when you give Palu and co confidence, and it certainly feels like they've got more than enough.
You've picked the exact right punctuation point in the game to make that point, Jackie, because Gym and Bedroom is FaZe's opportunity to get around on the board here. That's as simple as it is. So far, Team Liquid in the regular season, we saw them win this site defensively. Only 1 in 4, so it's not great. They've never won it when the diffuser has been put down on the ground and activated. They've not been able to have a successful retake on this site. So it really is FaZe's opportunity here to get in. You just see if Liquid get this one on the book, they're going to go back to Church and Arsenal. They're going to go back to CCTV, and they're going to feel good about it. They've come away with wins on difficult rounds, and they're going to know that, if anything, they can do better than they've done before. And it was still enough to get the round on the board. So this is very, very important for FaZe, or honestly, I could see it potentially being 4-1, 5-0.
It could spiral out of control so damn quickly. And that's why it really is worrying, man. Oh, at least into the round so far, obviously they do get themselves an opening pick, and they're able to punish Sexy Cake at least and take a slice right out of him. They'll nobble that down, and they'll get themselves back into the flow of the game. 1 minute and 39 seconds to work with as FaZe Clan lurking, not committing off the back of the opening kill and the first blood that's been spilt. They don't want to slip on that blood, Tim, and leave themselves then susceptible to be shot in the back of their head. Issue is, that's exactly what's going to happen for Palu as he tries to reposition. Sideswiped by bullets as Astro will unleash and dominate down with a hellstorm of rounds bouncing off of him, and now leaving it in the hands of the final 3 that remain for Team Liquid. But they certainly are furious. Nesk, PSK, and Moringa. They've got a crossfire. PSK is going to be lurking, waiting in the closet like R. Kelly as he waits for the push to come around and seeing where the next fight will come from.
Moringa, we've seen his ability from this Showers location to just lock rounds down. We saw him have a 1 versus 3 from there yesterday and successfully complete it on the defense. But right now, things are looking good for FaZe Clan. They've got the man advantage. They're starting to take the map possession that they need now. They need to be careful trying to drop this hatch. We've already seen Nesk have some joy in logistics. Had a double kill back in the last round, and PSK, he's waiting to see if he can do exactly the same. He's going to challenge onto it and then just dip away. He's, again, just trying to waste as much time as he can. That's the big factor here. But the push, we can see every angle that we see, there are FaZe silhouettes in front of us. And that tells us that Team Liquid are completely encircled. The challenge is going to come out onto the jacuzzi balcony, but Ion will get PSK. That's logistics opened up. Moringa will get live. That's the Hibana gone. But right now, 2 versus 4. Moringa, he is in deep trouble right now as he finds himself 1 versus 4. He cannot do it again. He's not going to get away with that. And FaZe, they shut it down in what was a very important 3rd round.
No shower stunners tonight. Not going to be coming through with the drip, Tim, and making his way further forward towards that final. They're put to bed, and it will finally be an opening round for the attackers. Is it an anomaly, though? Is it just one? Or will it be the building blocks for them to start actually collecting a couple of rounds together and moving this up into 2nd gear? Coming out of 1st, Tim. Starting to get, you know, that medium MPH on the go. Slow and steady. You don't want to jump straight to big MPH because you might stall.
Accelerator's certainly going down at a steady pace, that much is fair, but Team Liquid, yeah, they are keeping pace at the minute, and this is not quite neck and neck, but it's not a million miles away. And right now, Team Liquid, they want to get another 2 rounds on the board now. They are back to Church and Arsenal, and they've got CCTV and cash to follow it, so they're looking at this and thinking, we need this to be 4-1. If it's not 4-1 coming out of it, the likelihood is that FaZe Clan could finish this half 3 for 3. Because they have to go back to gym and bedroom potentially. So right now, Team Liquid, they need the next 2. You know, it's going to make things more difficult if they don't. But we know that they are good on the attack here as well. They are very, very clinical. So FaZe, it's time to battle hard and get as much as you can out of these next 3.
It's time for them to show that they are battle hardened off the back of the game that they had versus NIP as well. Go in proudly with the scars from the bust-up that you had against the Ninjas and utilize that aggression. Come out strong and do some damage. Tempo plays are what I'm looking for FaZe Clan here on the attack. I want to see him speeding things up a little bit and really swinging that confidence into their fights. Putting Team Liquid into a position where they're on the back foot, where they can't just peek you and take those encounters, where they are looking scared. And they do have to go back to the slower style of Siege on their defense. That's the point they need to get into here if they want to knock them for 6 and slow them down into the course of the round. It is looking a little bit quicker from FaZe initially here, Tim. They're taking map control bit by bit, and we can see Astro, he's really got his sights set on being able to try and find an early entry frag, sprinting his way through, skipping through the fields, looking for a pick.
Live it will be, however, that gets the entry for the 2nd round in a row, just propelling his team forward. Astro gets himself into a battle with Palu. There are hit points exchanged on both sides, but then Live just jumps right into the middle of that fight and says, let me at him, I want a piece of this. But Palu, he manages to escape himself away and just get himself back to safety. He lives to fight another day, and that is a smart choice from him, with them already being a man down. Moringa off the board. So 5 versus 4, and there is an age of time left on the clock as well. This is all playing into the hands of FaZe right now.
FaZe, have they got enough hand-based real estate to hold on to this round, though? Or will they let it slip? Will it fall through the cracks, and will Team Liquid be able to bounce their way back as they wait for the push to come? Still, just holding and listening. Playing for the audio cues and playing for the crossfires when push comes to shove. Ion going for the elevated peak up top on the lip there of the hatch, looking down to see if he can spot anyone, but no one's going to peek just yet. They have no real reason to, so they've only got 60 seconds left here, so they can literally just lie in wait for the push to come around. A little bit of a sneaking suspicion as well of the backstab that could come out from Nesk. So he's going to be clearing both of these angles one by one. The drone goes in. It actually didn't spot him initially, but he spams towards it. Now they'll have that read. There's 3 players that can go for the 3-pronged attack and pincer play to get him out of position unless he hits his shot from behind the generator, Tim. It's all down to if he can hit his mark when push comes to shove.
FaZe just stalling out a little bit here, struggling to get themselves into those final positions that you want to control before you head to an execute, and Blue is one of them. But that is a great kill from Astro, and believe me, that is going to be the breaking of the seal here. The onslaught is going to come out, and that is exactly what happens. 1 versus 5, PSK finds himself locked in Dirt Tunnel. Flawless round for FaZe Clan, and it was all opened up by that kill from Astro onto Ness in the tunnel.
And this is a million times better. It now feels like FaZe Clan, they've woken up a little bit, Tim. They've walked into the bathroom, they've taken a long, hard look at themselves, they've splashed that cold water on their face, they've got rid of the sand that's in their eyes, and they're ready. They're ready to get back into the game.
Oh, it's perfect from FaZe Clan. This is exactly what they needed now. They just needed that wakening up, like you say. Team Liquid, unfortunately, maybe they've not controlled the liquid enough, Jackie, and they've allowed some of that cold water to splash to the face of FaZe and just wake them up. And that's exactly what's happened. They've come in and they've slapped them hard in the face in the first couple of rounds, got themselves to 2-0 up, but all it's done, rather than knock FaZe Clan off their feet, all it has done is wake them up. It has enraged them, and it has pushed them to start fighting harder. And right now, Team Liquid are scrambling. They've just lost one of their primary sites down on Church and Arsenal. They're heading up to CCTV and Cash. They don't want to try that again. They want to just mix things up. They want to go for something different. But we've got to remember, last time we were up in CCTV and Cash, they found themselves in a 2 versus 3 situation that they needed to win. And that's something that Liquid are going to have to do differently. Now, we can see from the setup, it's all fairly standard. We've got the rotation through onto the garage catwalk there. Neski's going to head through and put some ADSs down. Sexy Clake is just finishing up the blockade of the construction area. So they're definitely paying attention towards both. Now, interestingly, the wall from Cash through to construction has only been half reinforced at the minute. I'm not sure if we're going to see another early in the action phase or whether that has purposefully been left. We have seen teams in LATAM doing that throughout the season, and it's an interesting one. I'm sort of on the fence with it at the minute. We've seen it work well, and we've seen it really not pan out. You leave the wall soft, and it means the defenders inside of Cash can challenge into construction and through on the angle into bedroom. But by contrast, it means that no utility is required to open that wall up beyond a soft breach, like Ash, like Sophia, from distance, nice and safe. So, as I say, I sit on the fence with that one a little bit.
Don't be sitting on fences, Tim. It's never comfortable, and also obviously you get a strong gust of wind, that's it. You could fall off, it'll be like a Humpty Dumpty type situation. You could crack your head.
Got to be careful about what's on the other side as well, Jackie.
Could be a Rottweiler, could be a pit
I
of
was
snakes.
thinking more of a big drop, but
You never know, mate, you know.
very different approach that we took there, but you absolutely fair point.
It could be a divot, it could be a dog. These are the options you've got to look at in life, and that's why you avoid sitting on fences. Choose your side and run away with it. And right now, in terms of the sides that have been chosen, Liquid, of course, lurking on their defense with their sights set to attempt to have a bit of a glorious time here towards Garage. A Sexy Cake is just lurking, waiting for the confrontation to come towards him. You can hear that sledge being put to use directly beneath him, tearing open that soft wall. He's now going to stake his claim by dashing out that toxic gas, and look at the amount of damage already done onto Live. The Monty has taken such a big inhale that it's really harmed him. Follows up with a second one as trying to get it underneath, try and at least hold back on the contact him, but he takes a bullet straight to the lips and that will slow him down. Might actually be able to find the frag here onto Live though if he fully pushes his way through. He has to sit towards the bottom of the stairwell, and look at the amount of time that has been wasted here, primarily just off the back of Sexy Cake. He's kept 3 separate operators for FaZe Clan, all trapped towards the garage, not being able to let them pass. This is where it gets awkward though, the 1v1 versus Monty, unless you drop the shots into the feet. When he drops the shield, you're not going to have a spectacular time of it, and that time goes over to Yuna, as it's clearly his time to shine, and he's going to shine bright like a diamond in the rough here into this round, Tim. The 2K coming through, as he is certainly shipping this one into being a FaZe Clan pickup, but there is a response. The detonation with the impact made underneath the feet of Live will send him flying through the air and bring it back into a 2 versus 4. Outnumbered and outgunned, Team Liquid are going to have a hard-fought fight, but they're still hitting their shots at least, as they do try and display that they've got the ferocity to do it. They can't. In the end, they will crumble away, as FaZe Clan will pick it up. The sledge will go in for the final killing blow, secure the victory, and get another round. And that round now takes FaZe Clan to an advantage here on Clubhouse.
Weight of numbers just carried FaZe over the line there. Moringa Nearly, very nearly had an absolutely huge play on that one. Got the kill onto the Monty with the impact nade and dropped the diffuser in the doorway. And there was a timeline there, Jackie, that I was looking at where I really thought he was going to close that one out, get himself a couple of kills, maybe bring it to a 1v1, and then knows what happens with the diffuser on the ground and 15 seconds left to go. But unfortunately for Moringa, as I say, the weight of numbers was just too much. We see it on the replay there. It was an absolute beauty. Monty went flying. It was just too much on the weight of numbers, and unfortunately there was just one too many challenges for him to take.
Bit off more than he could chew. Eyes a little bit bigger than his belly, Tim. And right now, it seems like it has been a bit of a belly flop that's come out into the last couple of rounds here for Liquid, but FaZe are standing tall, looming over them with 1 round in the buffer. However, I feel like with the way this is going, there will be a response. Team Liquid, as we've said many, many times throughout the season, they might start to slow down, they might spurt and spar a little bit, but they'll always come back into the game. They'll always wake up and start to do some damage. However, it doesn't seem like that'll be happening here on round 6, as we are going to get a rehost on the go. We have had the players drop out. Of course, not going to matter too much, Tim. It's second rehost of the game on this one, but at least we hadn't had first contact. No one had died or anything. It's just in the prep phase, so it shouldn't be too bad to reset that one and get us back in.
No, not the end of the world. We'll get that one fired back up. But FaZe right now, I think they need to hope that the rehost doesn't really break their momentum too much. Yeah. Playing very well, and they've got themselves 3-2 up now. Looking back, I've just had a quick look at the matchup that was played between these two on Clubhouse. And again, similar story. It was 4-1 on the defensive half in the favour of FaZe. So when they were attacking, they won 4 rounds to Liquid's 1. And it seems like they're starting to pick similar picture here, and if the outcome is the same, it really puts Liquid on the back foot in this matchup.
Oh, mate, genuinely, it was getting into a bit of a hair-raising position, right? Because obviously FaZe Clan, they start to find their form. That's not good. If you give FaZe Clan room to breathe, they're going to take a big, deep inhale and then blow you away. It's going to be hard, though, as we know how damn good Team Liquid can be, so there won't be any easy rounds, but a little bit of a lull in the momentum. It will slow us down for now before we return to the game. So, Tim, you've done quite well. On the initial rehost riddle tonight, you got some points in. You've effectively won the major. Do you think you can become the 2-time?
I mean, I've won at the major. I'm all, I'm all for an attempt, Jackie. Let's go for it.
Yeah, you're going back in. We'll see. We'll see if Tim can become the only 2-time on Twitch at this point in time. If he can get the next major edition rehost riddle. You can play along, of course, as well. Hit us up, hashtag BR6 on Twitter. If you are a little bit confused, we've been doing this the whole way through the season. Just join us for the ride. You'll enjoy it. Let's see if Tim can get himself another one. Tim, what is white on the outside, soft on the inside, and golden in the heart?
Now, that's an interesting one. Go for me again. Give it me again.
All right. What is white on the outside, soft on the inside, and golden in the heart?
In the heart, you see. That, for me, is a little bit of a clue there, Jackie. I don't know. My head has gone straight to, and I don't think this really fits because I don't think they are golden in the centre, but I'm thinking of a cabbage.
What?
They've got a heart, haven't they?
What do you mean? Oh, well, what cabbages have you seen that are white on the outside, soft on the inside, and golden in the middle?
That's the thing.
Yeah, right. Right. Honestly, what cabbages are you eating that have just been made out of GMOs?
I don't. That's the point. And I don't generally eat cabbage, so I don't eat white cabbage. So I'm thinking, I don't know if the centre of it's gold or not, but that's just where my head went. You said heart, I thought possibly a cabbage.
Cabbage. That's ridiculous, Tim. I'm not having that. I won't accept these shenanigans. That is a ridiculous answer, and it's incorrect.
Gold in the heart.
Yeah, I'll give you one last shot, one final opportunity to redeem yourself here. You know, you've got yourself to a 6th round. You're going into OT, Tim. One opportunity.
I feel like Luke with one bullet in the chamber.
Just jumping over a giant cabbage to try and clutch.
Trying to hit the shot on the hip fire. So white on the outside, soft on the inside, gold in the heart.
Absolutely.
White on the outside, soft on the inside, gold in the heart. It's not coming, Jackie.
Oh, mate. How have you thrown this one away, Tim? I was handing it to you on a silver platter. It was an egg, Tim. It was an egg.
Well, producer Simon said that, and I didn't really want to cheat by coming in with the egg, but then I was going to argue about the centre being gold. I feel like we've got to call that one null and void at that point.
Right,
Jackie.
hang on a minute.
The centre of an egg is definitely yellow.
What?
It's called.
No. Hang on. You stop right there, you egg-looking man. Right? I'll have you know.
I know about these things.
That there is multiple different colours of eggs, because you can get those rich free-range eggs that have the red centre, and then you crack them out and they look like a red egg. You can get the yellow centre, which is more akin to probably a gold, because it is like a yellowish gold, not like a brass gold.
Yellowish. But, that's the barrel that we're scraping, is it? A yellowish gold. I'm not having this one.
Mate, honestly, what eggs have you been eating that are just bright yellow? It is more of it's an orangey gold. It's more of a orange, right?
It's never seen gold. You're talking about some like royal egg here. I'm not having it.
This is ridiculous, Tim. You've clearly counted your cabbages before they've hatched.
I just hope. Well, I think I was almost closer with the cabbage call. I'm just hoping the chat's on my side here. I'm thinking about any sort of ring, any sort of jewelry. That's gold.
You're literally getting flamed by producer Simon.
Simon's trying to get stuck in as well. I'm not having that the centre of an egg is gold.
Oh, mate. What are you on about? What eggs have you seen that aren't... It's like
colour's your
yellow
today, Jackie?
Well, this is yellow, but that's different. This
See,
isn't
that
an egg.
looks a lot like the centre of an egg to me.
No. Right. Tim, come on now. You're being silly. You're just being silly now, so we're going to have to rein it in. You've ruined the fun. Let's have a look at some replays and start to reel this one back on, as we have derailed the situation here. But we want to get it back on track. Let's have a look at the setup we saw coming out on Garage, of course. It was a brilliant utilisation of wasting time, something that me and Tim appreciate an awful lot as we do it for a job.
Sexy Cake did a great job here using that toxic smoke. Now, if you look at that position, it's really, really key there. He puts it in behind the Monty, so either Monty gets cut off on the stairs with a potential challenge to come forward, or he has to dip back through that smoke, and that's what he chooses to do. Takes down half of his health. Now, unfortunate for Sexy Cake, on the one he tries to dunk through the bars there. He's conscious that there's maybe somebody just trying to power into Garage underneath him, so he goes for the little drop down, but is unsuccessful. The second onto the stairs, perfect once again. You can see him wasting well over a minute here with the Monty not being able to push, but ultimately persistence pays off for Live, and he gets himself up on there. And you know, we've seen this Garage catwalk played defensively very well so far with two players, Jackie, and I'm just wondering, maybe that could have been an answer there. Obviously, the clash isn't available, so it is a little bit more difficult to have that second man out there. But maybe somebody who could just support from the single window. But I think the east wall was breached, so very tough situation for Sexy Cake, really. But Moringa, we see as well, trying to just do his level best to open up as much, waste as much time as he can there as well after getting the impact nade kill. But unfortunately, 10 seconds on the clock there, just 10 seconds too much for him.
Yeah, time just ticks over. Kronos clearly not on his side, and that's the way it is going to go down. So, a lovely little round overall. Exciting stuff throughout the course of the day so far. If you are tuning in right now and you're a little bit baffled about what's been going on and wondering why we aren't still in the opening upper bracket series of NIP versus FaZe, you're a little bit late for that one. You've arrived at quite a tardy time, Tim, because it's already done and dusted. It was a rapid 2-0. They came out at light leads, and NIP, they already confirmed their spot into the final. They've got that one map advantage to work with going into Championship Sunday, which means we're now starting to work our way through the lower bracket game, the final lower bracket game that is a best of three, of course, Tim. We got Liquid facing up against FaZe Clan. We're currently remedying some issues that have come around. We did have a bit of a rehost go down. I wouldn't worry too much. We'll keep you alerted. You're not missing out on any gameplay or anything, so you're not going to miss the major. We're just getting it sorted. So, of course, you got to deal with our rambling for a little bit, Tim.
Well, it's something that we're, reasonably proficient at, Jack.
Oh, we've been doing it for a while.
We're wasting time like Sexy Cake was on balcony there, like you say. And so far, FaZe, as you said, they've not had the greatest opening to things here. Struggling against NIP. I mean, struggling is, it's probably a kind word. 7-1 on the clubhouse. But they've come through 3-2 here, and they're looking for a more similar result to the one that they had in the regular season against Team Liquid here, where they won 7-4 overall. And They did well on the attack. I think they went 4-1 on the attack, so they need to be getting at least 4. They need this next round. They need round 6 going in their favour on the attack. I don't think that they really want to go in level pegging for me. That is where they won it last time around against Team Liquid. So if they go 3-all, then maybe it becomes a little bit more of a struggle for them.
It very well would do. We are just waiting to see what's going on in terms of the lobby. We'll keep you updated once we get our players back in, of course, and then we'll jump straight back into that first map of Clubhouse. This is our last best of 3 of the day as well, and we're pretty early for this one, so it doesn't matter too much. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Tim, I was going to ask you, in the meantime, whilst we've got time, have you ever heard of the tale of the Mary Celeste?
I've heard the words.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say that I'm not an expert. Go on.
You're not fully aware. See, the Mary Celeste is actually quite an interesting one, Tim, because it was the fact that effectively it's like a proper ghost ship story, right? In the sense that the Mary Celeste, like it was all fine, all dandy, everyone boarded, and it set sail off on its mission. I think effectively it was carrying like loads of what are they called? Like the massive vats of alcohol. Obviously, back in the day, the oak. Oh, what are they called, Tim?
Barrels.
There you go, barrels. It literally had barrels in there.
I didn't think it could possibly be that simple.
No, I forgot what barrels were.
Surely he's looking for something a little bit more specific.
No, yeah, just barrels.
Just barrels.
But basically the ship went missing, and it didn't arrive when it was supposed to. And I think it was like a week later, another ship came across it and saw it like slightly ajar. It had taken a bit of water on board, and it was like bobbing to one side.
It had been at the barrels.
Yeah, it had been down in a couple of the pints. Clearly, the ship's got drunk, Tim, and it's gone off to one side, right? But they've boarded and gone to like check it out. They've tied the ship to the back of their ship to tow it and keep everything stable. But the interesting thing was, Tim, there was no one on board. Everyone that was part of the Mary Celeste had gone. However, nothing had been taken. Nothing had been moved. There wasn't anything missing. Everything was there and in place. It was just as if everyone had vanished, Tim.
See, I love a good mystery like that. It really does, it gets the old brain ticking over, doesn't it? You know, like what could have happened? What could we be looking at there? And like I say, I was aware that it was, sort of a ship that had been deserted to a degree. But no, and it's an interesting story, that one, Jackie.
It is, because obviously, people speculated for years about like what could have happened. You have people that come to the conclusion maybe it was like a kraken and it's stolen all the people but left all the goods, because of course krakens, they don't need money, do they? They don't need alcohol. They just have no use for it. Exactly. How are they going to store it, Tim? They can't wear a wristwatch, can they? They'd need 18 of them.
That's the key.
Hey, is
a kraken not a mythological? We're back onto mythological creatures again, are we?
We can move into major mythological stories.
I'm pretty sure krakens are mythological, are they not?
Well, I suppose it depends, because the idea of a kraken comes around from giant squids, which are real. Giant squids do exist. Like, they are actually
massive
a real thing.
Giant,
yeah. But it's just the sightings of them are very rare, because I think that they are quite timid. Even though they're like ginormous, they're very rarely caught on camera.
Easily
for the most
spooked.
Part. There you go. Yeah, they do avoid contact. But yeah, I think, krakens technically probably just missed sightings of giant squids back in the day.
And then just drawn on an old yellowed map with like a bottle of alcohol from the Mary Celeste in hand, a wristwatch on another tentacle. They've just looted the place.
He's just living a high life. There probably is a kraken out there somewhere, Tim, still with those flagons of ale that he stole from the Mary Celeste, tuning into the stream right now on his 16 monitors, one for each arm.
That's why he's keeping himself quiet, because he's thinking they're on to me. Jackie's got this one nailed down. He knows the truth.
He doesn't want to be spotted. It's crazy with that, though, because that's like one of the things that people thought it could have been. They thought it was either like aliens or a kraken, or they thought it might have been pirates that had come on board. But if it was pirates, Tim, why didn't they steal anything? Why did they leave everything on the ship? Yeah. The only thing they did notice that had gone, Tim, is I think it was 3 or 4 of the actual barrels. They were empty, Tim, and they had nothing in. And they looked into it and found out that those 3 barrels were a different type of wood. They were a type of wood that apparently could have caused a leak, right? So they suspect that what might have happened is there could have been maybe some kind of flashpoint explosion from the alcohol with that type of wood, and it obviously scared everyone on the ship, and they've all jumped off, and the ship's carried on sailing and just gotten away because they were terrified the ship was going to blow up. I think that's the most popular theory about the Mary Celeste.
I mean, anything's possible in that scenario, but surely at that point you're going to have bodies washing up somewhere. You're going to have people turning up on islands. You know, you're going to have a full-on Robinson Crusoe situation there, surely.
Well, yeah, but not if, you know, Barry the Kraken, he's lurking around, he's waiting, he's picking them up like some kind of human grabber, just there, just having a vibe, and he with his arms, having a flail.
One of them claw machines.
Yeah, like a wacky waving
in reverse,
tube,
though,
man.
obviously, he's coming from the depths. It's in reverse.
Yeah, you're floating on top, he grabs you, brings you down, says hello.
He's just trying to
I don't know why he talks like that.
There's a kid operating him somewhere. There's a kid putting 50 pence in and operating. Oh, I've got one.
There you go. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Jackie and Ace's Mythological Major Tales. It looks like we are actually ready to get back underway with the game. So there you go. Another bit of knowledge for you. If that ever comes around at a pub quiz, the merry. Now you know about it, use that in your life. I'm sure it might be beneficial. But what is beneficial is that the gameplay is underway once again. Issues remedied, game on the go. Scoreline is a 3-2 split. Of course, we're rejoining after the reheist. We had some time out in the prep phase, so not too much. We're not going to have to replay the round or go ahead from a different position. We'll just carry on from where we left off. And that leaves us in this position, waiting to see if Liquid will come back through, lock it down, and get themselves a third round, or if this is going to be a 4-2 split off the back of FaZe Clan's final stab in the dark on their attack.
Right, back exactly where we all want to be. We have loaded into Clubhouse now, and we will hopefully be bringing you this match through to a conclusion. It'd be nice if there's no further disruptions. We will keep fingers crossed. As much as you enjoy mine and Jackie's ramblings, I am sure that you much prefer the Siege just as we do. So we're going to be heading down to Church and Arsenal just to catch anybody up. If you've come in part way through that, we are in the first map of the best of 3 in the lower bracket final here. So the loser will go home. Those are the stakes on the table right now. The die has been cast. The chips are thrown, and we are just now waiting to see who will come out as winner and loser. Team Liquid, they came out strong and got themselves round 1 and 2 on the board, and FaZe, they already struggled to a 7-1 defeat against NIP on this map today, and we certainly wondered aloud whether we were going to be seeing the same thing once again, but it doesn't look like that's the case. FaZe have managed to fight their way back into it. 3 consecutive rounds on the books for them, and they're going to be looking to make it 4 here and give themselves the advantage heading into their defensive.
Right, so off we go then, revving their engines. FaZe Clan coming out, looking to try and hit them with the fast and furious plays. Let's see if they'll be able to slay, or if Team Liquid will come back in and really turn this one back to what their heyday was looking like with the initial 2 rounds they found on the spin. It's round 6, we've got 2 minutes and 30 seconds left on the clock, and no actual contact has been found just yet. Liquid, they normally play that slower style as well, where they will wait for the early contact, then converge. I'm hoping that's the style of play they'll bring into this round, especially back off the picks they've gone for in terms of the operators as well. Doesn't really feel like they're looking to go for anything too crazy.
And it's no surprise. It is no surprise. It is an important round for both teams to try and get in the books here. Now, last time around, we saw FaZe successful on Church, particularly by picking up a couple of early kills, and then the collapse came in. They shut out Blue Corridor, took Nest down, and managed to get themselves into sight and in control. So, really, they're going to be looking for that big start once again, but Live has taken an awful lot of damage so far. Palu is still out on the roam, as is Nesk on the Vigil and the Mozzie, and they could be an absolutely deadly duo. Live, however, will shut down Moringa. Mav onto Palu, and right now it's going all in favour of FaZe once again. Nest takes shots, shut down behind the bar. That's a great challenge from Astro over that sort of distance from the pool table. PSK will drop Ion to the deck there and leave him down, but not out. But there should be an opportunity for him to be collected. Right now, though, FaZe, they need to be careful of those overall hit points, because they find themselves low on 3 operators, but that doesn't matter to Astro as he lays Sexy Cake low, taking him off the board. And now we find ourselves 1 versus 5. PSK, he's got it all to do. He's inside, he's challenged, he's shut down. Flawless round for FaZe, and the rehost, it hasn't affected them one bit.
No, straight back in. Absolutely smashing it off the back of the initial round. That is lovely stuff to see. And this also goes to show that FaZe Clan they're not broken off the back of the rehost. It hasn't slowed them down. If anything, it's kept their confidence going, and they really have swung into some serious plays there. Going into round 7 then off the back of the side switch, this is where already question marks are going to start to be brought to the top, Tim, for Team Liquid. It's going to make you think, is there a possibility that maybe they're struggling coming into this? Maybe FaZe Clan are warm off the back of the rounds that we've seen, and utilizing that to really do some damage.
We're going to see Sexy Cake bringing the Montagna again. We've seen this countless times throughout the season. So what he's going to do is try to push himself up onto that garage catwalk. The first defensive site here is going to be CCTV and Cash. So as we've said a number of times, clearing out that garage catwalk is so important and so influential to being able to get the diffuser down. And I'm sure if they can open East Wall, get control of that garage catwalk, PSK will do the rest, as that his eyes will light up as that default spot opens up in front of him. And Sexy Cake, he will aggress onto the stairs, and I'm just looking across the lineup on the defensive side, and I'm thinking exactly how they're going to deal with that. I imagine Live is potentially going to be a big part of that, but you've got two options for the smoke. Previously, we've seen Sexy Cake on this garage catwalk, and he held them onto at bay for a good minute and a half with those smoke canisters and just prevented his push forward. But also important sometimes to teams is to play that smoke actually deep in Cash to allow the toxic canisters to be thrown over the wall, which is generally shot out at the top, over the little server stack in the middle of CCTV, and to actually impact on the default plant spot. So sometimes smoke will be directed away from that garage catwalk, and at that point it's all down to probably Una on the dock with the ACOG to try and keep things locked down on the balcony, but it is not going to be an easy one for him.
Looking for any early contact, but of course nothing's going to be giving to them for free. FaZe, first round on the defense, they're trying to play it slow. Not really giving the game away or giving any free information towards Team Liquid that aren't actually overextending too far. Again, going for a similar play in terms of what we've seen towards Garage FaZe, basically mirroring that of the setup we had from Team Liquid, as they will just have themselves up on the catwalk, ready for the push to come through, trying to use that utility to keep them at bay. But it's Una that's there. Rather than the smoke, it will be the dock. He has extra sustainability in keeping himself in the fight, but doesn't have too much in a manner of actually forcing Sexy Cake off the angle, Tim. So that could become a bit of a power play if Sexy Cake can get himself in there and start to bully Doc out of the angle.
Bottom garage is now open, so that is going to allow some pressure to be applied to walk, but 1 minute 30, and Liquid need to be careful. We saw a couple of times yesterday, more than a couple of times, that they struggled to get the round over the line in time. We saw at least 4 rounds lost. I think it was actually 6 or 7 across the entire day where they lost rounds based on the fact that they didn't manage to get everything done in time. Now, Garage Catwalk is theirs. That is great play to begin with. They've got the East Wall open. Everything is in place for them here. They need to think about the downstairs. They need somebody down in that lounge, because Mav, he's off somewhere and has a nitro in hand, and if he's able to get himself into lounge as and when that plant is going to down, he's going to hit PSK for 6 with a vertical denial on the nitro. So they need to consider that, the Team Liquid, but otherwise it is time to start thinking about getting PSK into that default spot, maybe with a little bit of time to hand this time around to get the diffuser down.
Time is ticking away. It's of the essence. Who's going to be left as merely just an essence on the floor, some kind of paste? Who's going to get ground down to that position? Palu, he doesn't like the odds of that happening, so sprints out of there, getting himself into a bit of an angle to try and be more effective into the late round here, but the late round is now. 14 seconds, Tim. They have to go for their push out onto the site soon. You can see all of that utility that's been saved up by FaZe Clan finally coming to the top as the smoke's dashing out those canisters. The toxic particles holding them back, but the bullets are doing more damage. They have to open the diffuser soon, though, and they will be able to get it down. 3 versus 4 on the retake. Lots of damage done to everyone on Liquid. They're all in a one-shot sustainability is at an all-time low, but they've still got the usability of the big shield. The thick boy of Major Monty blocking off the doorway, and Ion realizes that he might have had his chances into the round blocked and completely broken as he peeks out, gets a bullet to the lips from Garage, panicking as he peeks left and right, running circles around them, but having no opportunity to land a shot to shut him down. Monty's won it. Sexy Cake, we know how damn good he is with his shield, and he has been the human body blocker to win the round for Liquid as they'll pick it up off the punishment play from PSK.
Great round for Liquid there. We saw a fantastic shot of the plant and just how that came about. We've seen them do it before, use those smokes heavily to just screen off the line of sight. And it's not something that we see massively out of a lot of the other teams, using that smoke canister utility just to prevent a line of sight onto your diffuser and just to mask exactly what is going on. So we're going to have a look back over that and we can just see exactly how it played out. You can see PSK just getting himself locked into the corner. But the really important part, there's two really important parts there, and that's Sexy Cake getting himself onto the door. It prevented anybody pushing in from the cash stairs to make that challenge onto PSK. There was then also Moringa, I think it was, out on the half roof rappel, just shutting down anybody who came and tried to take Sexy Cakes back out by coming in from the cash single door. So absolutely perfect plant coming in from Team Liquid. That's going to be their first attacking round on the board, and FaZe, they could do with getting a defensive round here because they don't want Team Liquid to level things up, especially not coming in and taking away the primary sites.
It's also scary because it feels like Moringa, he's had the baton passed to him here on attack, and we've seen it multiple times. He can really be a mean machine. I think it's fair to say that he stakes a claim in Clubhouse, Tim. He clearly loves this map in the terms of the power plays that he can make on it. I think it's safe to say that he might be in the room to rent this place out, because he is moving into FaZe Clan's mind rent-free with some of the plays we've seen. And 4-3 in the scoreline. If they get another one, they can tie it back up. It'll be 4-4 a pop, and FaZe, at that point, they're going to start sweating. They're going to start shivering, and they're going to be terrified about how quickly this game could drop out of control if they give that momentum back to Team Liquid. You do not want to give them confidence. Do not want to let them find themselves into a position where they feel comfortable, Tim, because it's so hard to stop Team Liquid once they get themselves ticking over.
Top floor clearance will be required. We've got a couple of defenders playing up there, Ion namely on the Mozzie, and Liquid I'm sure will be aware of that. We've got the mute jammers out, and this is exactly how you play the top floor. They've got Una on the castle as well, so we've got the mute and Mozzie combo, and the reason that those two are brought along is to deny information. So between those pests and the mute jammers, you can pretty much clear out the entire top floor of drones. There will be no information, which leaves Team Liquid having to face check every corner, and it is very, very dangerous in terms of a clearance then, because you've absolutely no idea where those two operators are playing. Castle, Una, he will have just blocked off strategic doors in that mid floor, opened up hatches to allow those defenders to back to sites without too much damage when the time comes. But right now, they're going to hold on for a little bit longer. We've got one still in construction. It looks like the Vigil of Astro. He's just moving his way through around that door and pool table area just to keep himself alive on the roam. And right now, FaZe Clan are very, very busy away from sight at the moment.
A minute and 24 seconds to play with. Liquid getting map control. Ooh, but also getting some nitro to the legs. Sexy Cake, that shield is going to go flying, and so with a lot of his limbs, Tim, as he has been blown up. Hits the deck as he is detonated, giving FaZe Clan another opening frag into the game here on Clubhouse. It's a lovely little start into round 8, and it's just what the doctor ordered for FaZe. What is the response from Team Liquid? What do they want to do, and where will they set their gaze? As they drop down into the oil pit, they make sure to keep themselves standing tall and not slip over, but they do take some goo mines to the legs, and this is going to at least stun the push for now. Holds it back ever so slightly. Impact nades being utilized to tear down the walls though, so they can peek in towards the site, but they're not punishing. Instead, they're being picked to pieces. One by one, they all get gunned down as the SMGs reign supreme. Close contact goes the way of FaZe. The final frag coming through off the back of Ion on the Mozzie, as he will make a massacre look so easy for the side of FaZe.
Just see blood splatters all over the site there, showing exactly what had gone on over the last few seconds. And as you said, Jackie, that was an absolute massacre of Team Liquid there. It was an interesting concept from FaZe by the blue corridor area. You sort of think usually that's a hard contested location to try and keep control of, but no, they were happy to give it up. Team Liquid filtered in there. It was almost as if they couldn't believe their luck, but then they were just shut down one by one, and that is going to be FaZe Clan putting round number 8 on the board, taking themselves 5-3 now on the scoreboard. We could be in for an upset here, Jackie.
It feels like it. It certainly feels like FaZe have got themselves into sprinting form. They're hitting that peak speed, Tim. They were working up. We were talking about them moving up bit by bit, getting themselves out from the small MPH. Now they're definitely in big MPH territory. Make that bold MPH with an underline, Tim.
Well, you've definitely hit Control U on that one. There's absolutely no question about it. We've got to look slightly forward from here. Let's make the argument that FaZe take this one on Clubhouse. It is their map pick, and they have beaten Liquid here before, so it's not necessarily a huge overturning. We head then into Coastline. Team Liquid, of course, have done very well there previously, but did struggle against Team 1 in the regular season. If you remember, Jackie lost 7-3 on there. So they've shown that they are beatable, and they're going to be taking FaZe Clan there with their hopes of continuing in the major on the line. So that second matchup is going to be a big challenge for Team Liquid. Let's make no mistakes about it. But if we look back towards round number 9, we can see the setup is here on CCTV Cache, much the same as we've seen before. We're going to have the Bandit battle wall. The attackers will come in and try and use their utility as best they can to get that cleared off and get the wall opened up. It's something that Team Liquid did very well last time, was to get this east wall open, get control of the garage catwalk, and from there it was pretty much job done. It was all straightforward for them. The thing is now, the question, FaZe, they've got to be ready for that. So they're going to try to mix things up now, Team Liquid, on this attack, or do they just rinse, repeat, and do exactly the same?
We'll see is the way it will go. Push starting to come out now, 2 minutes into the round, but of course it's going to be held back by the banditry that comes out from Ion, dealing away the potential early opener and slowing down the round for at least a few more seconds. Shots being fired out from either side. Nest, you can see he's trying to be quite cheeky here. He wants to find himself a little sprinkling into the round and open up by stunning the man up above, but it's not going to be gifted to him. He can't play off the back of the vertical ankle and peek up just yet because he'll be punished for it. Eventually, they go back in as well, and the Thermite will be able to detonate the opening wall and now give them that further entry point into the site. They need to be quick about it, Tim. They've got about 1 minute and 20 left on the clock here. They haven't really had much contact. They're not finding themselves any opportunity, and FaZe Clan effectively can play wherever they want. At this point, the roam game is still in full force, and we might have a fight coming up soon. Monty making a ton of noise as he'll slam his way along, skulking behind. He'll have to wind his way down the stairwell if he wants to look for the backstab, or potentially set his gaze towards linking up with Paler and co. and pushing in towards the site.
Pressure onto the construction side now as Team Liquid realise they need to find some hustle here, and they need to get moving because they haven't managed to achieve everything that they wanted over on the east side. They've got the wall open, but the garage catwalk is not in their possession. It's an easy bandit trick onto those Hibana pellets. It's going to leave us with one small hole. They're going to have to push in through the single door now. And right now, the bandit of Ion has had a huge round here. He has managed to get rid of one exothermic charge. He's got rid of a majority of the X-Kairos pellets there. It has been big plays for him, but Palu comes in with a big kill as always, opening things up onto Astro. That's going to be the Jaeger gone. Nesk is just holding down that east rotate, and we can see that Liquid are managing to filter into sight now. PSK is in a position to get the diffuser down. That's exactly what he's going to do. Kills raining on both sides, and we find ourselves 3 versus 2. PSK is successful in getting the diffuser down, and here comes the post-plant challenge. PSK gets himself one after activating that diffuser. That's Unigon. Mav, he's got the Alder, the clutch machine. He's looking for 1 versus 3, but with a Monty on the board, you have to think that this is almost impossible. He's going to move through the rotation. 21 seconds to go. His location is known. Team Liquid, they're not going to peek this until they absolutely have to. PSK steps in at the same time as his operatives on side and gets the final kill.
Beautiful cleanup, lovely little round, and of course it keeps the game moving, slowing down FaZe Clan from being able to pick it up. We were debating about the idea of FaZe Clan being able to get the win here, Tim. Now it feels like that might not be as sure set and done. Something that was working out very nicely though, and certainly all set and done, was the bandit trick that we saw coming out from Ion. Perfect execution, just at the right time to throw a spanner into the works to slow down Liquid. But in the end, it doesn't matter too much. You might be able to slow them down, Tim, but they couldn't stop them in the end.
No, it's unfortunate for Ion because it was great. We don't tend to see too many successful bandit tricks at this sort of level. Generally, teams have worked out a way, and it's more about slowing down than actually stopping a push. It's wasting that time, forcing them to also go through the utility sink of using the lifelines, using flashbangs, using nades, whatever it might be that they are having to use to stop that bandit trick happening. So generally, that is more what it's about. But Ion showing that it is still a very valid and valuable technique there, and just absolutely laying waste to the attacking utility.
That slowed them down, was a massive fall in their side, and at least do a little bit of damage to their confidence. And confidence has come back for Liquid, and it couldn't have come back at a better time, Tim, because obviously FaZe Clan, they've not got themselves that extra round yet. They've not got themselves to match point. And that is the salient point of the series. That is the big factor you want to be looking at if you are on Team Liquid. All 5 of these players will now be realizing, Tim, that if they get one more, you can equalize the scoreline, and then it's still all to play for. You can push for a victory here. There could potentially be a 7-5 on the cards if they can keep moving with this momentum, mount a very effective attack here versus FaZe, and come back into the game. That would put a very different story going on to Coastline.
It's a big ask for FaZe here. Through the regular season, we've got 100% attack success rate onto Gym and Bedroom for Team Liquid. They are very good at attacking onto this site. And on the flip side, we've got FaZe with only a 40% win rate defensively here. So the chips are certainly stacked against them if they want to try and get themselves to that guaranteed overtime position. But Team Liquid, they're looking to level things up. They're looking to guarantee that we get the treat of at least all 12 regular time rounds here. Now, Sexy Cake, he's going to spot out the man on the cash stairs. He's just going to put a little ping out there so that his teammates know that there is one out there. I think it was the Vigil. There isn't a Vigil, so it won't have been. I'm not sure which operator was playing out there. I was just working off a silhouette. Difficult to say. We'll see as things open up. We can see the peak coming out. It's very possibly the Wamai of Ion if he's playing in behind the deployable shield. It will be live with a big opener. Nitro onto Nesk. Eat that explosion, he says, as Nesk is wiped off the board, and we find ourselves 5 versus 4. Sexy Cake on extremely low health at the minute. He's managed to bully Ion back into the cash room, and he's up to hold down that rotation now and provide any information. We can see the angles being opened up, so FaZe, they're likely to start moving themselves back through construction, back towards site, but with only a minute left on the clock, Team Liquid need to get themselves moving.
60 seconds to work with in a 4 versus 5 with all of the damage. The shield's broken, scars across the face of Sexy Cake. The dream position here, Tim, but they're going to try and start to lucid dream. Gain control of this one and make it a nightmare for FaZe Clan. They have a big advantage into the round, but all it will take is a couple of frags to come out from players like Palu, players like Nesk, of course, that currently is dead down on the ground. If you have those men step back up into it, you'd be able to get some control into the round, but it's hard. And it's only going to get harder the longer the clock ticks down. Contact found, though, from Moringa, and he'll be able to massacre. Astro's overpowered. Ion takes a bullet to the cranium as well, as he will crumble away. We see the blade coming out to backstab onto Sexy Cake as he gets skenged up, and it leaves us into a 3 versus 2. Make that a 3 versus 1, as it's all on Mav, the last remaining man for FaZe, as the push goes in towards the site, and he will take a bullet straight to the lips, bites that one, and it'll blow his jaw off as Thatcher the Smasher comes around and does the damage. Moringa with a clean-up kill.
We never really expected anything differently there, coming into 100% win rate site for Team Liquid, and they managed to continue that trend. Still unbeaten on the attack up in Gym and Bedroom, and they are pushing us all the way to 12 rounds here, and this match is much closer to the ones that we saw yesterday, Jackie. This is much closer to the level of excitement and enjoyment that we've been used to so far in this LATAM Major than maybe we saw out of that run over this morning, but This one is going all the way. That much is a guarantee. It's going to 12 rounds. Could it go into overtime? FaZe Clan need to fight hard here because they are coming into a second map, which is Liquid's choice, coastline. And you've got to think so far, the maps have generally gone with the teams who have picked them, I think, over the course of this major. I'm thinking on my feet quickly there, but I think a lot of players, a lot of people have won out on their own maps.
Effectively, it's felt like that's been the case nearly the whole way through. You know, we've just had the clean results on your map pick, and then the clean result for the other side when they get to their map pick. This would be the one anomaly to that fact throughout the major if Liquid can upset him. And of course, it would be quite upsetting for FaZe Clan if after all the hard work they put in to just destroy Liquid round after round, if it all crumbles away now and they've stalled, they've choked it, they're gasping, Tim, and they need to catch a break. They need to catch some air and get that oxygen back in their lungs soon, or they will be deflated inside and outside of the server here.
Heading into the action phase, and it will be Church and Arsenal that we are assaulting. And right now, Team Liquid and FaZe Clan are looking to get themselves the advantage. Only one team is going to have the opportunity to win this matchup on Clubhouse in regulation time, and that is going to be whoever comes out with the victory here. Now we can see there's the top floor hold in place once again. It certainly paid dividends for FaZe Clan last time around when defending this site. If you remember, there was a collapse onto site from Team Liquid from the blue corridor, but they were just absolutely summarily dispatched one after another as they filtered in through that single door. There was just no option for them whatsoever to even move when they moved through, because they just met an absolute hailstorm of bullets as they went in through there, and that's something they need to avoid this time around. It's going to be a top floor clearance coming in from Sexy Cake on the shield once again of Montagna, just looking to push Valkyrie back down those stairs and force Ion away from that challenge. He's just going to clear out the utility as he goes. That's going to enable the drones to make the way through. One of the difficulties of this top floor hold and the top floor clearance is getting the information from it with the mute on side.
Round 11, a minute and 25 seconds. Slow and steady wins the race for either of our sides here. Liquid, knowing how much is riding on this, they don't want to overcommit and potentially force themselves into a position where it will slip through the cracks and it will leave them hanging out to dry. For FaZe Clan, they're just waiting, Tim. They are expecting a scrap. They're getting ready for war, ready for action, polishing their firearms, showing that they can be handy with the steel, and just waiting for the opportunity to get that itchy trigger finger firing off and put some bullets down into the rest of the Team Liquid members when they come a-knocking towards the front door of the site. And that is going to be happening relatively soon. As we reach the 45-second mark, they're slowly starting to advance further forward. Sexy Cake will take the lead as he'll reposition around. Obviously, with that big shield on the Monty, he can get so much more information and not necessarily pay too much cost if he does take bullets to the side of the head. Habana as well, opening up the hard breach, giving them that entryway in towards the site. Then they can drop down from the top, convert with the pincer play onto the execution here. But who's be able to slay from far away, and who will be saving the day? That is the question we're looking at. Monty coming up. Close contact is found. Trying to toss the nitro out, but it won't get behind him. However, it won't matter. He'll still drop down, leaving us into a 4 versus 4. Hold on to your fillings as things are about to get Larry. 3 versus 3. 4 seconds left on the clock. Liquid, they need to open up the diffuser now. PSK committing to the plant. Will he get it down? They're going to swing onto him. They toss out the nitro, but it won't matter, as instead it will be the shotgun to finish him. The buckshot comes out from Yuna as he will drop him down. The castle ruling the roost.
All 3 remaining FaZe players just converging on PSK there. He had absolutely no choice but to keep putting that diffuser down. It was lose or die, simple as that, and he was shut down. FaZe get the round on the board, and they're going to have the opportunity to close out Clubhouse here. Let's remember that this is their map pick, so they will be very keen to get this one over the line. They certainly don't want to see it going into overtime. They want to close this out here and now. They're going to have to defend gym and bedroom if they are to do it, though, and we've already spoken about Liquid's attacking prowess onto this site. The chips are stacked against FaZe here. 100% win record for Team Liquid. They're going to have to come out with some big moves in the server here, Jackie.
Have they got the moves though, Tim? Can they cut those shapes? Can they do something ridiculous? 'Cause that's what they're going to need to do. It's their only opportunity. And it's scary as well to think. Obviously, we did have a rehost in this series. We've had two of the game, and that will affect the stats line slightly when you look at their KDs. But at a glance, it does leave you scratching your head a little bit. You're looking at Sexy Cake, you're looking at Nesk, Tim, and you're thinking, where are they? Why aren't they showing up now into these clutch rounds when they're needed most? Why is it Moringa that's having to pop off and try and do his Palu impression to give them the power they need to lock down the game? It's 6-5. FaZe Clan, 1 round away from beating you here on the opening map, winning their respective map pick and sending you through to Coastline. It's going to be a scary affair if it gets to that position. You have the opportunity of bringing it back, biting the bullet and taking it to OT, but will they? Can they mount one gigantic final attack?
We know that if there is a site that they can achieve it on, it is this one. We've already seen them do it tonight, and this is now proving to be an unbelievably exciting matchup. This could well end up the closest, the tensest, the most exciting matchup that we have yet had in the majors, and that is going some compared when you think about the fixtures that we had yesterday. That really is going some to hit those sort of heights. But this is map 1, and we could be seeing overtime in map 1 here, and there is potentially still 2 more to come between these two, who are now fighting for their very lives inside of the LATAM Major, fighting to get themselves any sort of advantage heading into Coastline so they can try and close this one out and get their position, grab a hold of it in that grand final.
Get to that position still though, Tim, and for FaZe, can they make it back for the rematch up against Nip? This is a hell of a way to at least secure a map closer towards that position. A Sexy Cake, oh, that's not what we're talking about when we're saying about eating nitro for breakfast. Taking the explosion to the lips there, slightly behind the shield. It wouldn't tank the full brute of the damage. Instead, the shrapnel will riddle through his legs and leave him limping into attempt to contest towards Garage. It's going to slow down Liquid an awful lot here into what could very well be the final round of the game, unless Nesh does something like that. The astronomical chances of him hitting that one are so slim, Tim. A disgusting shot followed up by a disgusting team kill. Palu, we know you're a madman, but there's no need to show that skill and flex on your teammates by physically bullying Moringa. He's been the one that's been trying his hardest, Tim, to get the game for Liquid, and he's just been shot in the back of the head. The betrayal.
I love the player cam of Mav there. I don't know if you caught it. It was an absolute split second, but he was raging at the monitor there, and it just shows how much this means to FaZe Clan to try and take this one here and now. And Liquid, they are fighting hard. The team killer's not rocked them whatsoever. 2 versus 4 now. They move into sight. PSK is surely going to start getting... No, it's Palu has actually got the diffuser in hand. They're mixing things up. PSK comes in instead on the cover. He's going to get 1 kill. 1 versus 4 now. 2 come in for live. 1 versus 2. Can he do it? He has to hit the reload, but he has a Montagna of Sexy Cake, and that is not going to be an easy thing to deal with. First step, though, is to get Ness in, but he isn't aware that the man is still in logistics. Ness shuts him down with shots to the back. That's going to be live taken out, and we are going to overtime.
OT. There's never much love when it goes OT, and it doesn't seem like we will be going OT right now. Unfortunately, there's clearly been a mishap with the settings. Don't worry, we are getting an overtime, guys. It's not ending in a draw. That would be absolutely ridiculous. Shenanigans have occurred, Tim.
Imagine.
There we go. That's the result on that one. We're going back to the best of 2 format. No, not at all. Don't worry about it. We'll get that resolved. We'll hopefully jump straight back in straight away to continue this one on, because what a round coming out, Tim. Bizarre the whole way through, if I'm honest with you. The fact that we had the Palu team kill, I thought that was it. I thought that was the final nail in the coffin, and Palu was the one driving it in with a hammer. But in the end, that was just the opener. They step it back up, they win the round, and we've got some highlights from it as well, because some of those shots were highlights. Namely, I'd say the shots that came out from Nesk, Tim.
Oh, it's an absolute... Honestly, the speed of this peak is ridiculous. We've got it slowed down into super slow motion for you, and you'll still... If you miss it, blink and you'll miss it. Yep. Look at that. Just catches him on the way back, but... It's great to see it. It's great to see it and to see how clear that was, but at full speed, that was just ridiculous. It was,
Yeah.
it looked like he was back on top of the roof. He looked like he wasn't even peaking when he got the kill. It's, you know, the split second timing of that is just unreal. And it's the second time that he's done it. Speed peak from him earlier on, and he's just absolutely unbelievable. He just defies all superlatives, does Nesk.
He does, and it couldn't have come at a better time, right? He'd had quite a quiet game. These were like the first frags since the rehost that we had seen from him, Tim. He had no kills off the back of that. He was struggling, and then all of a sudden he wakes up and he goes, no, we can push it to OT. I'm not content with having to win 2 maps. I want to win 1 right here, right now. I want to beat them on home soil. I want to beat them here in Germany on Clubhouse. And now they might have that opportunity. We're getting the levy sorted back out. We're setting this up for OT so we can go in and carry on, of course, from that position. And it's going to be damn exciting once we get it underway, Tim, because the likelihood here that this now goes the whole hog and we see it being decided off the back of 1 round, I think looks more than likely.
Who knows? For me, I think FaZe Clan really need this. I think FaZe Clan really need this. Coming into Coastline, 1 map down against Team Liquid, onto their map choice. That is not going to be an easy spot to find yourself in. And so for me, they need to come out strong. I think they need this first round, whichever side we find them on, whether that be attack or defense. They need to come in and take this first round. They need to put the best foot forward, so to speak, and they really need to try and power through this overtime. For me, FaZe could really do with just winning an attack and a defense and getting themselves off this one very quickly and just getting the 2 rounds on the board and going 8-6. Definitely. No, I feel like you're right. It's also, you know, at this point, Tim, it is FaZe Clan's game to lose, right? Like, it's still them with the most of momentum. It's a fought comeback there for Liquid to even get into a position to be able to make it to this point. Yeah, that's huge, and it does show the turn of the tides, but we've got another rehost. We've got the downtime of this, right? So that's going to knock your physics a little bit. You're not going to be as crisp as you were coming back in. You got to reset. So all bets are off. I think this definitely spins an interesting picture going forward. And this is going to be an interesting game. If you are watching this one and you've got friends that are interested in Siege or friends that are just interested in esports in general, then let them know. #6Major. Get it out there, tweet it out, drop it to them, come and get involved, send in your thoughts, send in your feelings, tell us what's been getting you hyped up throughout the course of the tournament, get involved with the conversation and get them to join us too. Send them the link, Tim, get everyone joining us tonight and jump onto this because it is going to be a banging overtime once we go into it. I think it's certain to say this is going to be a slobber knocker, Tim. Totally agree. I would go as far as to say, Jackie, don't even worry about whether your friends enjoy esports. Do your friends enjoy fun? Get them in here if they do, because we're going to have absolutely bucketfuls of it. We're going to get into what will be a very tense best of 3 overtime between these two. It's going to put us through onto a second map. We will have a winner one way or another. Team Liquid or FaZe will come away with Clubhouse. As we've kept saying, Clubhouse was FaZe's pick, so they are really going to be keen to pick this one up. Going into Clubhouse will be a tough battle if they are 1 down. It'll basically feel like that NIP matchup all over again, but ultimately, the big outcome here is that one of these 2 teams will home by the end of the night. Whoever loses here, they are out. They are done. No more Latin Major for them. They are going to be on the way back home. And the winner goes through to that grand final. They'll play against NIP, who secured their spot earlier and a 1 map advantage, and they will have the chance to play out for that $50,000 top prize and also 285 qualification points for the 6 Invitational. Now, they're arguably more valuable than ever, Jackie, because obviously we're on a sort of a short season this time around. We've only got 2 stages there, that are playing out in the new format. So it's not quite as full as it normally will be with 3 stages. So again, what a great year to come out and have a strong start winning the first major.
Oh, mate, this is the dream scenario. It's also why probably NIP, you've got to imagine for them, right? They'll be sat there at their PCs watching this series, oogling at the way it's going and starting to get a little bit excited in terms of who they might have to face up against going into Championship Sunday tomorrow, because that best of 5 decides so much. And it also could decide if we see NIP back at SI for another time. You know, we know what happened last time, Tim. We know that they came, they saw, and they attempted to conquer, and they came very close to the mark. So what's saying that if NIP do it again, If they go into that grand final, they have another victory, they secure the bag and get those points, that they won't be building themselves a pathway to next year, to getting back into SI and just living their movie on LAN once again.
This is it, and I was fortunate enough to be there for that match and for all the games, and NIP an entertaining side throughout that tournament. The fans absolutely love them. They had a very, very vocal supporter group out there, and it was fantastic to watch them come through. They were a little bit of an outsider at the time. It was each matchup they went into, there was a lot of presumption that maybe they weren't going to make it through, but all the way to the final. But for me, Jackie, as much as, I love all of the LATAM teams, I'd love to see any of them succeed. I'd love to see a LATAM winner of Six Invitational now. For me, if there's going to be any, not necessarily this year, but at some point through the future, I think there's a huge shout to be made for. I would like to see Palu lift that hammer at some point. He has been so dominant over the last 12 months, and he's showing himself to be such a great player that it really would be nice to see him immortalized, essentially, to see him really reach that peak of the game. It'd definitely be one for the record books.
No, it would. It truly would. I think it would be quite exciting to witness it because obviously, at this point, he's gone through some crazy, crazy hardships, and we've seen just the fortitude that's been reflected in his play style and him as a person as well. When we've had him on for interviews, right? He's such a lovely chap to speak to, Tim, and he just lives and breathes Siege, and is quite possibly one of the best to touch the game in the style of gameplay that he approaches, the manner at which he can just pop off and just have these beautiful rounds, round in, round out. He is a treat to the Siege community, and I do hope that one day we'll get to see him in that position, Tim, but of course we'll have to wait and see how it goes, and we'll bring it back in a little bit because from what I've seen, it looks like we are starting to get the lobby back underway. If you are joining us, you're a little bit wondering about what's going on, you're a bit baffled, you're like, where's the gameplay, where's Liquid? Get this sorted out and then go back into the game. We can also recap the veto a little bit as well because we've got some downtime. We might as well have a look at the way the series is shaping up. At this point, we are still currently in Clubhouse. We are in overtime, but we had to rehost the lobby due to a mistake that was made, so we're just remedying that, and then we'll carry on, of course, from that position. But after that, Tim, it's where it gets spicy, of course, because Coastline will be coming up, and then we've got the decider of Oregon. So the map pool is crazy.
Honestly, I feel like we're already heading for Oregon. I just feel like I've just got that sense that this one is going to go all the way and we're going to see it come down to the wire. If FaZe can get this over the line in overtime, Liquid come out and win their pick on Coastline, and then we have the ultimate throwdown where these two really battle to the death, fight for that survival in Oregon. And it's going to be such a great map for it. Obviously, there's an argument that potentially there's a bit of an advantage to be found if you start on the defense. But ultimately, with the way that Siege plays out, 6 rounds on defense and then 6 rounds on attack, there's no real advantage to be found for anybody. So long as you can keep that in your mind, even if you have to go up against that defense to begin with, you know that yours is coming. You know that you have that same opportunity.
Oh, yeah. I'm just excited, honestly, at this point. I want this to get back underway, Tim. I want to get back in with the OT and see where it's going to go, mate, because the overtime we've had throughout the tournament has been ridiculous. This major has really been spoiled for close series. The best of threes have been banging, and obviously this is the last best of 3 we've got of the competition. After this, there's only one game left to go, and that is the best of 5 grand final that will be happening tomorrow. It's just a matter of let's get back into it. Let's kick it off. Let's see who's going to snatch the crown on the first map. Will Liquid be able to come in and get an upset win the map pick of FaZe Clan, and then go on to Coastline to do some damage and really get down and dirty and tussle with the best? Or will FaZe actually get themselves a win?
Questions are going to be answered, Jackie. And I, for one, am here for it. It's, to be honest, we didn't expect anything else from the major. We've had it through the entire season. We've got a lot of extra people watching, obviously, because it is a LATAM major. So, thank you very much, everybody who has joined us. But one thing I would take the opportunity to say, Jackie, is don't sleep on LATAM. Come back and watch in the next stage, because there's been plenty of me and Jackie having the fun that we have, having that bit of banter and watching that exciting Siege and bringing you all the furious action and bringing that hype along with it. But there's also been some unbelievable matchups. We've seen so many games that have started off in one direction and then been turned around and run back in. We've seen plenty of unbelievable action, and it's just the best advert this weekend so far that we could have had for Siege in LATAM.
No, it is. It is indeed. Especially yesterday, man. The quality of games was just crazy. Friday was absolutely ridiculous. It was a furious Friday, and certainly some games to remember. We quite possibly had one of the best series as well from Brazil that we had, obviously with Team 1. That was just wild, man. The fact it got decided off the back of one bullet, effectively, Tim, some madness went down. We're still just getting this remedy, by the way, guys, in terms of the issues we've got at hand here with the lobby. Don't worry, we'll keep you updated. Hopefully shouldn't be on this one. We want the game to start as much as you do. But something else that we also do enjoy doing that we want to get down and into, Tim, whilst it seems like we've got a little bit of time. Do you fancy another little rehost riddle, major edition?
Hit me for it. I feel like I've got one win and we've got one null and void so far today. So, yep, hit me with another one.
All right, here we go. This one's a little bit different in the style that I'm going to go for. When do astronauts eat their sandwiches, Tim?
When do astronauts eat their sandwiches? See, in my head's gone straight to takeoff, Jackie, but I'm sure they're not eating them while the space shuttle's on its way. That's a serious time. They've got buttons to be pressing and stuff are really going on at that time. So when do they eat their sandwiches? Nope, you've got me on that one.
Have you been stumped?
Stumped on that one.
At launch time. Like lunchtime, isn't it?
I mean, yes, it is. It is a little bit like that.
That's how they do it. Sounds relatively similar. It seems like we've also got a poll that we can bring on. Let's have a look at it. At this point, the descent into madness has begun whilst we wait for this to get sorted out. Well, poll-wise, it seems like there is a lot of Team Liquid fans in the house tonight. Everyone going wild for the Liquid boys in blue, Tim. 65% of the vote supporting them to take the series in OT. Only 35% favouring the FaZe clan.
Well, based on what we've seen so far, obviously both teams have come out and given us the same performance on each half. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here. So there's no real advantage to be found inside of the map. I think you could look at, the overall choice comes down to FaZe. The previous matchup that we've seen between these two on Clubhouse has been 1-7-4 by FaZe. So statistically, you would maybe give them a little bit of an edge here, but we know how well supported Team Liquid are, and I'm sure that Jenna's just whipping a few fans into shape and drumming those. She's drumming the numbers up there for Team Liquid. There's the fans in there, and they're certainly not blind to it. Team Liquid have got as big a shout as FaZe have to come through and win this, but for me, depending who starts on which side, for me, the advantage still sits with FaZe a little bit. I think if they come on the attack, then I think they probably take it.
Right. Mental stuff, Tim. I'm just excited for it to get back underway at this point. Just waiting to see when this will be resolved, as we are just making some last minute adjustments in terms of the lobby and getting the players back through. So hopefully shouldn't be too long left on this one. We do thank you for your patience as well, for hanging around. There's an awful lot of you that have come out tonight to support the show and come and join me and Ace here on the coverage of the English-speaking broadcast for the 6th major for BR6. The best of Brazil that have been battling it out throughout 15 play days over the course of 5 weeks to now make it to this point into the major. 3 high-octane days of spectacular siege, back-to-back best-of-3s, and then the best-of-5 grand final that will be happening on Sunday. That is what we have to look forward to. But in terms of the present right now, we're just waiting for the gift of this game to be unwrapped, unraveled, take the pretty little bow off the top, Tim, and get back into it. Like a kid on Christmas, we just can't wait.
We absolutely cannot, and we know that there's going to be treats galore inside. I feel like it's not just going to be one gift, Jackie. It's going to be one of those boxes, that gets put together, and there's all sorts of bits in there. You got some sweets, you got some chocolate, maybe a toy, a book, whatever you might be into. I just feel like that's the sort of package that we're looking at here. It's going to be getting through those layers and just unraveling it all.
See, the problem is with that reminds me more of like the parcel tip. I feel like that's the sort of vibe you're going for there. But, Christmas time, it was always quite soured for me because my aunt used to just deliberately wrap all of the presents with like rolls and rolls of gaffer tape just to make it really hard to open the presents. So everyone would sit there for like an hour and a half and it'd be like, oh, present from her, is it? Right. And you're obviously there, you're there with the keys, trying to dig in, trying to find a way to get through, breaking your nails, trying to open up the presents. It was a nightmare, honestly.
So you've missed an opportunity for an easy present for your relatives there. When you were sat there thinking, like, what should I buy them? What should I buy them? Scissors. Yeah. Buy them scissors. Make their life easier.
Or buy him scissors, then do the same and roll that up with loads and loads of gaffer tape, and also give her just rolls of gaffer tape and a present.
Maybe it would have got your point across. It'd have been a quick nod then to say, look, we know your game. We've got you here. Here's 3 rolls of gaffer tape. Don't use any more than that.
Yeah, let's calm it down. Let's bring it back in, and hopefully, these days, Tim, she doesn't do it as much anymore. She doesn't waste all that tape. She'll only do a couple of rolls rather than 6 rolls. But it looks like we're ready to carry on. 6 a pop. All of the rolls are what have been used here between this gaffer tape glorious game that is coming out. We're finally back in. We've been waiting for overtime to kick off on this one. A little bit worried about what the potential downtime could have done to either side, Tim, as they were all firing from all cylinders. They look damn hot and spicy, but they've had a good maybe 15 minutes. I feel like that downtime was to actually cool off and potentially put them in a position where they're not going to be as quick to trot. But it is 6-6. They are coming back in with Liquid on the attack and FaZe on the defense. We're going into overtime. It's all to play for. It's the first map of the best of 3. It was FaZe's map pick. Who's going to walk away, though, when the dust settles? That is what we're waiting to answer.
This one favours Liquid at this point. We have to call it as we see it. And previously, we've seen the attacking teams come and take 4-2 on that half. So right now, Team Liquid have got the stats in their favour for this. Now, if we have a look at Liquid's previous attacking record during this matchup, round 8, they attacked onto Church. They lost. FaZe won that one. Round 11, however, attacked onto Church. FaZe, they won that one as well, Jackie. So this is the site that FaZe managed to win both rounds on. So it's going to be a hard nut for Liquid to crack here. They're going to have to do something different to what we've seen so far. Any other site might have benefited them, but the way that plays out is then Liquid, even if they lose here, can take their strongest defensive site. And if they can keep a hold of that, then they are coming into a site that they have won potentially multiple times on the attack already.
I don't mind, Tim. It feels like we've been out of action so long. I'm easing back into it. I'm trying to get my gears turning to come back into the action here on round 13. So you've got to feel for both of these sides of Liquid and FaZe Clan, and hopefully either one of them won't be phased by the downtime. But we'll see who will be standing tall as the push starts to come out. Doors being blown off hinges, noise being made as they are rattling the side of FaZe as the push will come out. Sexy K on the Monty, effectively acting as a gigantic, big human bollard of a drone that will be bombarding his way through, stomping along and collecting all of the info, trying to detect where the clan is playing from and what angles they are lying in wait on.
This is pretty much the exact same hold as we have seen previously. Now, Astro, he's just got his impact nade out ready. He's looking to potentially open up that castle barricade and pop through there like a jack in the box and just provide a big surprise to somebody and potentially open up this round with a first kill. Now, that will go to him as he does exactly that, and it is Palu who he surprises, just dives through the castle barricade and gets the kill into the man in lounge. That is going to be the Hibana off the board. So also some hard breach utility gone. So now there's going to be a limited number of hatches get open. Obviously, some of them may already have been done by FaZe on the defense, but if not, really, those exothermic charges for PSK, they're going to have to be saved for the site. They're going to have to be saved for that church wall, if that is the angle at which Team Liquid think they are going to push here. We could well see this come down to a single door push, which we have done previously. We could well see it come down to a hatch drop, which we have previously. Neither of occasions of which have the attackers won. So right now, it's stacked against Liquid.
Tall order. Hard task ahead of them. But we know they are very ship-shape, and their sea legs tend to find them through even the hardest waves that a side will crash up against them. Into the round, though, 20 seconds work their way out through the dirt tunnel. Sexy Cake trying to get contact with his teammate in the rear, doing damage. We'll find the flick shot from the Zofia, and put another man down in the grave. But they still have to set up 3 other players on a date with the coroner, Tim, and nail them down into the ground, and that's just what they're going to do. It's now a 3 versus 2 with 3 seconds remaining. PSK on the plant. He gets it down. He stays alive. Ion coming in on the flank on the Valkyrie, but will he be victorious as he strikes hard and strikes very strong on the early encounter against PSK? 1 versus 1. Sexy Cake with the shield, trying to body block. He'll go for the bait play on the revive. Oh, he drops him with a shield, smashes him in the side of the head. The big thick boy comes down on him like a ton of bricks, and it'll buckle the Valkyrie, shatter the Mozzie, and crush the Dream FaZe off the back of the rehost round coming into OT.
Sexy Kit keeps it simple there. Don't worry about the pistol. Just use that huge metal slab that you've got in front of you to smash the guy off his feet. And that's exactly what happens to the Valkyrie of Ion there. And that will be the round closed out. And that is huge for Team Liquid. As I said, coming into that round, both defenses of Church so far had been successful for FaZe. If they were going to take a defensive round anywhere, surely it was there. But right now, it comes down to the same site once again. Liquid, they're going to go downstairs, and it really feels like this is going to be a battle of the Church and Arsenal site, Jackie, because one way or another, if Liquid don't win this here, then it's FaZe's defense again. Do they choose to go somewhere else that they have lost on every occasion? Or do they try Church and Arsenal again? It really feels right now that the time is going to come down to who can get a defensive win on this site.
God damn. What a result this has been so far. Obviously with the response coming out from Team Liquid there, keeping it clean. A round that didn't seem like it was going to be theirs. And then it all gets shut down off the back of Sexy Cake finally coming through with some frags to his name. He was struggling throughout regulation, but going into OT, it's looking a little bit better for him. On to greener and brighter pastures for big man Sexy. 7-6, Tim. FaZe Clan, bite back or lose the game. That is the options that remain, and it's quite scary when you think about the fact this is their territory. This is their map pick. They own Clubhouse, and they could be losing out as there is a new landlord in town, and they are taking names, and they are asking for a buttload of money, Tim, going into this new season.
Pre-place Nitro there from the Valkyrie of Nest, just looking for an easy opportunity to take some kills in the logistics office, but it will all be dependent on FaZe Clan filtering into that location. So top floor attention has been paid, and Nest and Palu so far have not had any success up on the top floor. Moringa joins them as well. I think Ness actually just dipped away there. We can see he's down on the bottom floor. He's going to try and bring some pain with the detonation of that pre-place Nitro, but it will be unsuccessful. So right now what Team Liquid need is a strong start. They need Palu, they need Moringa to have more of an impact on this round than they have previously, to get a kill, to waste time up on that top floor. It is essential this time around that they don't find FaZe attacking onto site with a 5 versus 3 man advantage.
Going steady wins the race, it seems, so far for FaZe. They're not really necessarily committing to anything overly aggressive, and they're just going to wait for maybe a mishap, a misplay, a peek, and a swing from Liquid that will give them an early opening frag, and that's the misstep. Palu, he fluffs his lines, Tim. He's gone off script. He thought he had a better idea than the director, and he has been cut from the production, left lifeless on the ground as Mozzie has been stomped on. They maraud their way in with confidence now, trying to stake a claim to take it 7-7 and leave it all up to one final round to decide the game here in overtime in a sudden death scenario. And death is what is happening all across the board for every member of Liquid. They are being liquidated as FaZe Clan are coming out looking like a gigantic blender, and they have kicked it up to the 3rd speed option.
Difficult angle for Moringa to hold up in cash there. He had himself a little bit of a view through the piles of notes that are stacked up on the table, much like the prize money that they're trying to work their way towards here, but he will be seen underneath the table, and that is very, very easy to do from that angle. And you got to remember your legs are exposed while his view was obscured, so Moringa being shut down and now finding ourselves in a 5 versus 3. Ion will take some big shots though. Time is ticking away. That is the one thing in the favour of Team Liquid at the minute. We can see a challenge coming in. Sexy Kate manages to just get away with only 1 bullet of damage. Gets himself a kill. He's looking down PSK. He will get his second onto live. 2 versus 3. Time is ticking away. Sexy Kit goes prone. He's looking to just try now and lock this one down. It's going to need 1 or 2 kills here. There comes the first. Could this be it for Team Liquid? Nest with the kill onto Astro. 2 versus 2. Time ticks down. Una successful in getting the diffuser down. This is right down to the wire. It is Nesk. 1 versus 2. Active diffuser. Everything stacked against him right now. He has to find 2 kills. There is a man on the diffuser. There is a man at the motor door. And it will be Mav who swings around the bomb chassis and gets the final kill onto Nesk. And that's going to be FaZe Clan getting the round in the books. We're going all the way, Jackie. All the way to 15.
We make it to this position and it all comes down to this. It has to end. It's got to be closed out. No more second chances. No more second guesses. End the game here and come away with a victory. For Team Liquid, will they be able to step up to the mark and find success on their opening attacking round, or will it be FaZe Clan to double down on the defense and win their map pick? Because that is the bigger picture that is floating above them. If they lose on their map pick, Tim, if they drop on Clubhouse and they get evicted, they get removed from the club, they lose their license to chill at the club, then they will have to try and struggle to fight back on Coastline. I don't know if they'll be able to contend and go with some of the best on Ibiza. I feel like it might not be the party they're looking for, as they'll have their heads dangling down, not too content with the outcome of Clubhouse if they concede this next round.
Oh, there's no two ways about it. It's going to be a big mental blow, but there is a long way to go before that happens. We can see the same setup coming in once again. We've got Astro on the vigil, Una just applying those castle barricades to try and create a safe space in the middle of bar, and the hatches have been opened up, so we're going to be seeing a top floor hold once again coming out from FaZe. We've got Mav just in and around site applying goo mines, just trying to avoid that pressure coming in from the dirt tunnel without him being aware of it. And right now I'm just wondering if Team Liquid maybe need to do things a little bit differently. We have seen some success so far. Oh, that's not good.
No,
Palu
that is
will
not.
drop out of the game, and that is unfortunate. Now at the minute, it looks like the game is continuing. No, we are going to drop out. I was going to say, really, we need to be coming through for a rehost there. But what timing as well, just in that final round of overtime. It's just making things more and more difficult for these players to find any sort of consistency at this point, Jackie.
Mate, oh, it's not ideal. There's a bit of a dropout there. Obviously, that was it. That was the big final round. It was the payoff. Everything was building up. We were getting ready for it. It was like a volcano that had been built by a child for a science fair. Everyone's laying in anticipation. They're all looking. They're all waiting. They've clicked the button. You've seen the chemicals mix. You're expecting this big burst, the puff of smoke, and for the soap to come bubbling over. But Tim, it was a mistake. They've used the wrong type of smoke. They haven't decided to put in the Mentos. There's no coke in the bottom, so you won't have the chemical reaction, and it's all gone wrong. They've got a B- on the test, and the kid that made the fly swatter has won the whole thing. That's the position we've been left in here with a rehost coming in at a moment like this.
Sounds like an interesting science fair that you had when you were a bit younger, Jackie. Coming in with that winning fly swatter. Was it you? Was it you who made the fly swatter? Did you pick up the win?
Well, here's the thing though, right? Like, obviously, what would you do with that? What sort of fly swatter would you actually design that would be ridiculous for a science fair? Is it one that, you know, swats you when you tries to swat flies and it's like, no, don't harm them? Is that like the counter?
Yeah, it's going to have some ridiculous advancement, isn't it? I think on the volcanoes, is it vinegar and bicarbonate of soda that creates that?
That sounds about right, yeah.
I think it is. I think that's the old experiment that we used to do there. That's only from memory, but...
Yeah. Well, we do also have a replay, of course, as we can step into that and have a little bit of a glance back whilst we wait to then move further forward with the series whilst we get the lobby set back up. Let's have a look at what we've got on hand here, of course. Going back to the round that kept FaZe Clan in the game and brought it to a 7-7 split. What's crazy about this as well is just the sheer timing of it all, Tim, of how close it came down to the mark, and just the unfortunate fact that Sexy Cake wasn't able to carry on this spree when he charged out towards the site.
When we found ourselves at 2 versus 2, I honestly thought that that was going to be it. I thought Liquid were coming through at that point. Ness gets the kill here, down behind boxes, but Yuna is doing exactly the right thing, and he's getting that diffuser down, and Mav just shows some real dominance from that motor door, and it's always difficult if you don't have control of the motor door as a defender, because this is exactly what happens, and he's able to just wide swing in, he gets sexy cake, and then ultimately you see him come around the side of the bomb chassis there and put shots straight through onto Nesk, and that was nice and cool from Mav there when his team really needed him to get them over the line. It was a desperate situation at that point in time, and it would have lost them their own map. It would have sent them onto coastline. Having lost, don't let's forget, they've lost the first 2 maps today. That would have been a 3rd map consecutively lost. And you start really feeling like you're on the downhill of a bad roller coaster at that point.
Oof, what, in the sense that it's like rickety and it's not really trustworthy? Maybe it's like it's a wooden roller coaster in Sweden. It's been like a really hot day, Tim, at Kolmarden. Is that what you're looking for?
Certainly could be. You know, I've been on a few in my time that have probably been a little bit questionable. I will say that it certainly felt a little bit so. The old, the old wooden roller coasters. I love it. To be fair, Jackie, I absolutely love a wooden roller coaster though.
Oh, mate, they are incredible. You know, I remember last year I had a little Sweden trip. I went to a couple of the different parks, went to Liseberg, went to Kolmar, and they've got this gigantic wooden coaster, Tim. He's a big boy, right? Like, he's huge, and he runs off the top of the mountain. But they were saying over the course of the day, because of the actual tracks with the wood, where it expands slightly, it gets quicker over the period of time, as, you know, obviously the more that the sun beats down on it. So the more you go on it, you can feel it on the drop getting faster and faster, and you're just like, whoa, this is too many G's. The G's are hitting me.
Definitely want to go on at the end of the day then. But I'd love to do something like that a little bit. I've been on some of the big coasters around the world, but I'd love to do a little bit of a tour and take in some of the real famous ones. It'd be nice.
Oh, mate, it'd be a lovely little affair. Well, if you've ever rode a roller coaster, send in. Let us know. #6major, #PR6.
Give us a rating.
Yeah, what's your favourite roller coaster and why?
Right now, we are on a roller coaster ride, each and every one of us, and it is this matchup between Team Liquid and FaZe. We've got all the players in the lobby. We're going to be heading back over to Germany very soon to Clubhouse, where we will see a conclusion to this one. We are currently sat coming into the 15th round of map number 1 of a best of 3 here. It is FaZe's map pick. They are now on the defense. I would have to give them a slight advantage on this. So far, they've only successfully defended one site on Clubhouse, and that is where they are going to be attempting to defend now. Church and Arsenal, they've had 2 successful defenses. Liquid did manage to take the site on attack in the first attacking round of overtime, so it is a little bit up in the air, but you've got to say, FaZe came out and played very well in regulation time. You would expect them to be able to get at least 1 out of 2 bites of the cherry down here in the basement.
You would expect so, but will they be grabbing the Bakewell? Will they be taking that cherry tart and nibbling on it in the corner? Or will it be dropped to the ground and be smashed away from them? Who is going to win this one? We go back in. Liquid, of course, on attack. FaZe Clan on defense. This is it. It's the final round. 7-7. We must decide a victor here tonight on this map. Of course, this is FaZe's map pick, but Liquid, they have much of a chance to take it, Tim.
They certainly do. It is up in the air. As I said, you know, Liquid, they came out round 13 and managed to get the win down here, but can they do it again? It was largely looking like we were going to have the same setup from FaZe that we've seen from them previously, which will be a top floor hold here for Church and Arsenal. So Yuna will apply the castle barricades in and around the bar area to create that safe space. They'll open up the hatch to allow the drop back down to site, and they'll play at least 2 men up on that top floor or rotating around, just keeping themselves unpredictable as much as possible. And they will try to pick up some kills, which is something that they've done very well on the successful defenses, is they managed to give themselves those early advantages. We had Palu lost on the Hibana last time around as well, but it didn't ultimately make too much of a difference. So right now it could be down to that top floor hold. We can see Yuna, interestingly, just castling up that motor door as well. So it doesn't just impact on the attackers. That could be an interesting one coming into the round, because obviously one of the rotations back towards site would lead the defenders in through that barricade, and it might just prevent their ability to do that.
All right, well, here we go. Everyone's alive and kicking. They're all ready to slay. and kick off into the round. Team Liquid on the attack, FaZe Clan on the defense, the clash of the titans, the bust up to remember, the big round that decides the fate here on Clubhouse. Who's going to lose out on their loyalty cards, Tim? Who will have them revoked and be handed by the bouncer? And who is going to be the man grabbed by the scruff for the neck? We'll find out here into round 15 as time starts to tick down. We're at the 2-minute and 20 mark. Slow and steady from Team Liquid, making full use of the timing. Don't face check anything. Don't run into the unknown. Don't swing wildly and take a stray bullet to the side of the head and give FaZe Clan an early opener just like that. As we see Nesk, a power player for the side of Liquid, dash down immediately. He's been set up on a date with a coroner as he's overthrown early on into the round here, and this puts them into a bit of a conundrum. Can you come back from a 4 versus 5 and fight tooth and nail to keep it close and competitive here in round 15?
It's what championship teams are made of. There is no question about it. When the rounds get scrappy, when the games get tough, they get going, and that is what the big teams are all about, and they don't come much bigger than Team Liquid, so I am certain that this is still a possibility for them. But FaZe, they've given themselves every advantage and every opportunity to close this one out. There is a little bit of damage across the side of FaZe. If we look, Ion nearly down to half health. We've got Live just down to about 75, and that castle barricade is going to prevent the push into the site from the Montagne, so potentially a good decision at this point, but it does also offer a little bit of safety for those attackers as well. They can think about getting PSK down there, opening up that wall. We will see shots coming in. Now that was cheeky. Astro will be shut down. He looks to drop the hatch, but unsuccessful, as the attackers are alert to the danger. 4 versus 4 now, coming into the last 45 seconds. And Liquid, they want to get this church wall open now. They want to do that so that they can start aggressing towards the site. And that is exactly what is going to happen. But Moringa will be shut down on the back. Thatcher Palu, however, does get Ion. 3 versus 3. This is getting really close now. Who knows which way this is going?
Oh no, Tim. Live, he was having a monstrous round, but now his name should be dead because he's down on the ground. And it leaves us into a 3 versus 2. It's up to Yuna and Mav to clutch it. 13 seconds on the clock. All they've got to do is deny the diffuser, but it's the body block. Look at the play from Sexy Cake. Stands over the top like a mother hen controlling the roost. As he'll wait for the push to come in. Allow the diffuser to go down. They can't physically force him off the angle with the peak. The shield comes down. They converge. They clean up, dropping it back into the 1v1. It's all down to this. Mav jumps on the diffuser. You've got to peek. You've got to swing. He's going to get it. 2 seconds. He holds it, Tim. He ends the round off the back of the stick. The defuse coming through. FaZe Clan win it in overtime because pros don't fake.
Palu flashed himself. Palu dropped the hatch and unfortunately flashed himself, and you've just got to say that prevented him from making the challenge onto the man who was disabling the diffuser. Mav sticks it all the way, and once again we see a 15-round game come down to a 1 versus 1, Jackie. We couldn't script it, we couldn't.
Tim.